Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. This afternoon, I'm joined by Sean Connolly, Chris McElwain. We're talking Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 1. Only just, Sean. Not the best first half performance. Brilliant to get that goal when we did, though.
Yeah, I'm 1-0 does flatter us slightly. To be fair, though, like Kilmarnock have set up to ensure that football is one of the last things happening out there today. That pitch is so dry. I've never seen it so dry. It is absolutely abysmal. They've called their tactics right. They're playing aggressive correctly. The way the pitch is, like, it's hard to get the ball under control. So they've gone tactically, they've gone man to man, and that's really stopping us from being able to get it down and play it. There's been times McGregor and Johnson have been the most guilty, just hoofing up the park, and honestly, like, it feels like that's almost what you have to do. But then when we are going direct to Ida, his touch has been quite off as well. So and Engels has just not really been up for the physical battle that Kilmarnock have been putting on. There's all these kind of off the ball niggles, and some of the players are standing up to it, some of them are getting rattled by it. So Kilmarnock got their tactics right, and it was going to take a kind of freak goal, really, like a set piece or something like that, and we got one with that Callum McGregor cross that ended up going in. You love to see it, but yeah, it's not been an entertaining half, let's say that.
No, you're right. And sometimes you look at it and think, well, they'll get a rocket at half time from not of the pyrotechnic variety, but they'll get a rocket at half time from Brendan. But sometimes you think to yourself, Chris, why do you need that half time break to get the rocket? We can all see it. It's been really flat, nothing sticking to either. Some really poor performances. I agree. Engels has not been great. He's not been at it at all, but neither has Callum McGregor, really, prior to the goal. I don't think we've had any real outstanding performance. We look jaded out there today, don't we? I mean, the pitch is rotten, absolutely no doubt about it, Chris. But we really need to spark into life. Hopefully, the goal does that.
Yeah, but I believe Brendan Rodgers said that he wasn't going to blame the pitch for any any element of the performance. I think he said that yesterday, maybe. But there were a couple of moments there, just to emphasise Sean's point, where the first moment I really noticed is when Kuhn actually turns a player really, really well, and then takes about 5 minutes to actually get going and catch up with the ball on this pitch, because it's just such a heavy pitch. Movement of players, movement of the ball has been dreadful. With that said, this is not news, right? Both teams are playing on it. We've had to face this plenty of time before, and I agree with you. I think the performance has been far too flat. Individuals are not really performing. I don't think we're playing the same fluid, balanced type of football that we normally play. We're not seeing that triangle between Johnson, Engels and Kuhn. I do think Kuhn's been our most creative player so far, but it's levels below what we would want to see. And yeah, I think we've really toiled. I think that flat is absolutely the right way to describe it. Very, very lucky to get the goal. I mean, good. I think it was definitely a cross from McGregor. I hope Ida doesn't try and do his best Harry Kane impression and claim that one, because he was about a foot away from it. But ultimately, yeah, I think I'm pleased, probably stroke relieved, to be going in at 1-0 at the moment. We need to do much better. And I said before the game, I said this is one where you need to play and win ugly. I'm not sure it can get much uglier at this point.
No, but the big thing for me is twofold. You've got Brendan Rodgers, who will be, as I say, pointing all of this out at half time, because a lot of it, from the very first opening minutes, you think to yourself, we just don't have that sharpness. There was a kind of heat map shown in relation to where Kilmarnock players had been positioned in the first half, which showed that we've not bothered them on the wings a great deal, and that's one of our strongest areas, Sean. But we really haven't carved out enough chances behind our fullbacks. We've got we've got Maeda and we've got Kuhn, who have been pretty much unstoppable in recent times, and they've not had much at all, have they? And I think that's a big issue. It's like, how can't we get them into the game today? Because they've been brilliant the last few weeks, and Kuhn in particular. But I take it on board that the pitch is really, really poor. The ball isn't moving as you would expect, but we've got to overcome that. We really do have to overcome that, don't we?
Oh, look, I get that people think excuses, but you see the one chance Kilmarnock had where the ball is running towards the Celtic byline and everyone just stops. The only person that keeps running is the Kilmarnock. He's like, I know this pitch. That ball's not good. And sure enough, the ball holds up, and he creates a cutback for it, and so that is definitely a thing. But I will say, in mitigation, apart from the pitch and Kilmarnock getting their tactics right, the best player on the pitch so far has been David Watson, and he's been giving Callum McGregor a nightmare. He's been man marking Callum McGregor. He's been getting in front of him to win the ball. He's been doing the one chance for Kilmarnock at the post. That's Hatate gets caught, but Watson is. Got in front of McGregor to nick the ball, and that's how Kilmarnock end up getting that chance that goes off the post. So the best player on the pitch today has not been a Celtic player so far, and maybe hopefully we'll get some rain to turn it around in the second half, because it's Kilmarnock. And look, no harm to them. That they are. The idea is Celtic are the best footballing team. We're going to do what we can to stop football happening, and they've been doing it successfully.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Not flowing football, you know.
And sometimes the thing that we need to do is grab the game by the scruff of the neck. It's said so many times it's become cliched. And it's up to the captain sometimes to do it, Chris. He's done it a few times this season. And as the half wore on and I saw how ineffective we had been down in the wide areas, I'm thinking to myself, this might just be a speculative effort from distance that gets us ahead. Often what McGregor's done this season is that we dink over the top as well, but he does not been on it. So he decides to do it. And he gets us the goal. I want to focus on, I don't think McGregor's had a particularly good first half. By the way, I was full of praise for him after Tuesday night because he answered a lot of critics wrong. One half isn't going to make my decision change on McGregor. That's his 5th goal from midfield this season, which is a great, when you think about the one and only Matt O'Reilly scoring an important goal yesterday for his new club, and the goals and assists that he took with him, if you like. There were certain players you're looking at and thinking, you need to step up and increase your tallies. And I think McGregor's done that.
Look, he has. And we know what McGregor brings, but look, he's not infallible, right? And you know, because he's such an influential player, as Sean said, you know, the best player for Kilmarnock today is rated as such because he's nullifying the threat of McGregor. And the impact of McGregor today. So, you know, we know what McGregor can do. So does the opposition. So they've set up today to try and nullify, you know, that particular, you know, piece of our weaponry. But I think McGregor needs support from other areas of the pitch. I don't think Hatate's done enough today. He actually looks like a tire player today, if I'm honest. It was a point we made at the outset of the match. Engels looks like this is a side of Scottish football he doesn't enjoy, which is the physical, ugly, you know, getting amongst it side. And I'm wondering whether or not this is the point where we start looking at players like McCowan, who I think has demonstrated a bit of grit so far in his appearances this season. Bernardo, we know, can sometimes take a game by the scruff of the neck, and maybe that alleviates some of the responsibility for Callum McGregor. I just don't think this is a game with the best will in the world for our flair players today. This is one where we're going to have to just go a bit more old school, a bit more direct, try and work their goalkeeper, try and get more shots on target, even if they are speculative, because look where we've got the reward from is a speculative ball over the top. And I mean, Kilmarnock will be hurting at giving away that type of goal. Is that a game we want to bring on someone like Kyogo? Not too sure at this stage, but I think a well-rested Kyogo coming on against tired legs, even on this pitch, could be really useful towards the end of this game. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But I think I would like to see us show a bit more grit, a bit more fight in the middle of the park at the moment, because I think that's where we're losing the match right now, or where we're losing the battles within the match.
Going to bring up some points coming in through the comments. We're 1,300 strong. Stephen Broadley didn't see that coming. I think before the game we were saying, you know, Scottish football is it's a unpredictable beast at times. You can go out there and play so well against Leipzig during the week, and then come up against Killie, unfashionable side away from home, and it's not going to be easy. We mentioned it, Sean. This is what happens in Scottish football. On Chris's point about Engels, there's a lot of comments coming in about Engels, and I think that he's definitely not been as, for me, involved as he should be. He needs to get to the point. Age doesn't come into it for me now. He needs to get to the point where he knows there's going to be afternoons like this, Sean, and he needs to contribute. He's not contributed enough for me. Him, Johnston and Kuhn have been a massive part of our success this season. And Kuhn has been in and out of the game a wee bit. Johnston and Engels, fairly anonymous.
I think there's more, as you said, Engels, his age is mitigating, but there's also more senior players that are more rattled than him, or just as rattled as him out there today. You know, McGregor, Hatate, Johnston, all the number one culprits for me. I think even Scales has looked a bit off it. Not terribly so, but just a little bit not up to his usual standard. He does well. I think Ida, when he fluffs that chance 5 minutes in, his confidence seems to have fallen out of him at that point. Because that was like, I don't think he was expecting it to reach him, and he's really fluffed it badly, and the keeper's just had to pick it up, and it looks like he's struggled to recover his confidence from then. I know, and I feel like I'm giving McGregor a hard time because he's struggling against Watson, but I will point out that that's him now joint top scorer in the Premiership with 5 goals. So he's joint top with Kimpioka, Papagay, and Nicky Clark. So all those players in 5 goals. So not bad for a midfielder. I think that's probably 5 goals is the most he's scored in the last 2 seasons combined, probably. But yeah, we'll take it. He had one as well that was going in. I think that one was going in off the post, the one that the keeper pushes wide.
Fine fingertips, yeah, it was a good one.
It was at that point that I thought to myself, "This is how we're going to score. We're going to have to." And by the way, we've got the type of player who can do it. We saw Kuhn doing it during the week. We know Hatate can do that. So more of the same. If it's going to be one of those afternoons, AG comes in struggling on that horrible pitch. Ball has a mind of its own. The best example of that was the one Sean spoke about, where the ball just stopped. And you're right, Sean. The Killie player knew it was going to stop. Everybody else thought it would have trundled out of the park. Ida even missed that ball. Ida's getting a hard time in the comment section, but the reason I'm bringing it up is as a reminder of the kind of hard time that Kuhn was getting at certain parts last season. Ida, we can't judge him on 45 minutes at Rugby Park this afternoon. He is going to have big moments. I spoke about this on Thursday with JP. He's going to have big moments this season. And I think that, by the way, Big Bruce, I'm not bringing you up to single you out, but this is a type of comment that comes back to haunt you. Ida looks like a pub team player. Something similar. Insert player name, remove Ida. And I've seen this so many times. I've seen it last season with Kuhn. Couldn't trap a bag of cement. And you've seen what happened. He's not had a great game. Let's not write him off, though, is my point. No. How was that not a foul on Engels? I think the ref got that wrong, CJ. I think it was a foul. Yeah, without a doubt. David Boyle, the team is well rusty after Tuesday. McCowan, Bernardo and Forrest, for me, needs to come on. We've sat here at halftime so many times, Chris, and thought, right, first half really, really poor. Brendan doesn't tend to change it at half-time. He gives them 10 minutes. He makes the changes. He says, right, you're on your last legs. Ida, I think, falls into that category. So does Engels. If they don't do something in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, they'll be hooked, won't they? It seems tailor-made for McCowan, though, doesn't it, this afternoon?
It does. I mean, he was the one player I was hoping to see today, because I think he is, we talk about players for certain games. I think this is a game tailor-made for him, based on what I've seen so far. But yeah, I mean, there's other areas as well that you could look at that you think, Maeda's not influencing games the way he sometimes can. He looks as though his pace has been completely nullified by this pitch, and you've got to consider what's left there. Do we need someone that's got a bit more invention, maybe a la Forrest, who we know can come in and cut inside and do that speculative effort? Bernardo, we know, likes a shot from range. Could potentially come in for Hatate. So I think this is the one positive you take from where we're at this season. We've got options on the bench. We do have decent options on the bench. I think, at points last season, if we were in this position at half time, you'd be looking at the bench, you'd be thinking, I don't know where a goal's coming from. I don't know where a game changer's coming from. I think now we've got the slight luxury of having players on the bench who can come in and actually can probably impact this game, despite how ugly it's been so far and how difficult it's been. So I do think that we can't look at the pitch solely for everything. And I echo Brendan Rodgers' point. We should have enough about us to go and play here. Got to get the fundamentals right. Some of the passing. We've had positions where Kuhn has cut into the box and he's tried to roll one with the outside of the foot to Hatate, and he's just hit the Kilmarnock player. That's poor. That's not the pitch. That's poor judgment and poor composure. So I think Rodgers should tell him to refocus, give him 20 minutes. And if it's not improving, we bring on players like McCowan, who will be keen to come on and make an impact. We want an opportunity again for him. Kyogo will come on and probably do what Kyogo does, which is run about and terrorise defenders. And when you're doing that against tired defenders, fantastic. And potentially you've got the invention of Forrest and the drive of Bernardo. So Not worried at this stage. Think it's a game we should be able to go on and build on our lead, but we need to keep it tight. We need to keep our discipline. We need to do the fundamentals well.
Yeah, we've not bothered them enough. It's been too comfortable for them at the back,
Yep.
hasn't it? And for our listeners all over the world, I'm going to bring you a superlative that cannot be beaten by CJ. It's been pure honking so far. So there you go. Pure honking. I hate Rugby Park. Let's go to the second half and hopefully it will be picked up. And join us at full time. We will have something to say about the entirety of the 90 minutes. All that's left for me to say thank you all for tuning in, and thank you to Sean and Chris for joining me on a Celtic State of Mind.
Hoops.